Chase at the 40. Look at that move. Look at Chase go. Oh, my goodness. What a gear.
He comes down to this in his car end zone. Intercepted.
McPherson. And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl.
Boss here. Mixon's going to throw. Open man. Caught. Higgins. Touchdown.
Drives. Touchdown. Joe Burrow has his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Maan. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our victorious Cincinnati Bengals. Maan, you and I have had quite a day. Just so you know, listeners, this is right now it is just past midnight. Maan and I both just drove back separately from Tampa for the Bengals-Bucks game. What an incredible game, Maan. Unbelievable. We have so much to get to. Who cares if it's 12:30 at night? You and I, the Bengals Pulse, we are here, and we're going to talk about this game. Maan, what did you think?
So much to talk about, so many emotions today. It was definitely a tale of two halves, and I just the mental toughness and them pulling this game out and winning is just amazing. And I'm not going to lie to you, the first half was brutal, but it's worth being up this late to talk about it. And let's get this thing going.
All right, let's get it going, man. Like you said, what an emotional roller coaster this game was. A tale of two halves, without a doubt. I really think thinking about this on the 2.5 hour ride home, I'm thinking, man, it's a shame because what the Bengals did today is going to get overlooked because of all the other crazy stuff that has happened the last 2 days, right? You have the Colts, Vikings. Yesterday, the biggest comeback in NFL history, which, man, you just got to feel for Matt Ryan. He has been a part of two of the worst comebacks in NFL history. And then, obviously, today, you and I were the Bengal game was just ending, so we didn't get to see what happened in the Raiders game. But what the hell was that? Man, and we'll talk about the Patriots game on Friday. But I think that's going to have an impact on our game, to be honest with you. But I just think all these crazy things happened this weekend. And it's really – this Bengal game is going to get overlooked because what this team did today is pretty much unbelievable. I mean, they're going to say, well, Tampa Bay unraveled and yada, yada, yada. But – those turnovers and those things that happen in the football game, those were great plays by the defense. So it wasn't just like Tampa unraveling. It was the Bengals coming out and making plays the second half, Mon.
Yeah, you know what? The haters out there are going to nickel and dime this. They're going to say Tampa Bay imploded. I agree with you. They settled down after halftime, and they came out and made some good plays. The Trey Flowers interception was a nice play. The DJ Reader strip sack or fumble on Tom Brady. Logan Wilson got the sack, but Reader swiped his hand in there and jarred that ball loose. That was a great defensive play. And, I said it at the beginning. You said it. It was a tale of two halves. It really was. And the way the defense played in the second half was huge. And they played with a lot of reserves. A lot of key reserves came in and performed pretty well.
This is how amazing it was, Bond. Here's two crazy stats that I read on the way back. The first one, Tom Brady was 89-0, Mon. 89-0 when leading by 17 or more at home in his career. 89-0. Not anymore. He is 89-1. And not only that, Mom, he was 143-2 when leading by 17 or more in any game, anywhere in Tom Brady's career, 143-2. Now he is 143-3. That is how unbelievable this comeback was for our Cincinnati Bengals. Let's get into the stats real quick. Joe Burrow, like you said, the tale of two halves, right? He throws that pick, Maan, which is, by the way, Paul Daner tweeted this out. It's now the 5th straight Burrow pick that comes off a tip ball. Burrow's last 5 interceptions coming off of a tip ball. Really, like we talked about earlier, the tale of two halves for Joe Burrow as well. But, sometimes MVP struggle. But when the game's on the line, this MVP finished 27 of 39, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, all in the second half. He was sacked 2 times, but he finished with 104.7 QBR, had 3 carries for 8 yards. But what an incredible game by Joe Burrow in the second half. It's just unreal, Maan.
Yeah, he's a competitor. He's a winner. He doesn't want to lose. He did that with an injured finger also. Listen, Tampa Bay, their defense played really hard today. And everything the Bengals got, they had to earn. But you're right. In the second half, 4 touchdown passes. And I love the fact that our stud wide receivers each got a touchdown. Boyd, Chase, Higgins played key parts. And, like I said, I told you earlier, I did listen to the game on the way home. I watched it on NFL Plus. My wife drove. And I did hear a compliment.
That must be nice. That must be nice because I had to drive home. My wife slept. I had to drive home. But go ahead.
My wife and kids don't like it when I drive. They say I drive every car like a fire truck. I don't know what to tell them. But no, Tony Romo, I know he was ripped on Twitter for being critical of the Bengals. He did say something. Listen, I listened to the whole game. Some of the stuff.
Tony Romo.
There was one passage at the beginning of the game. I don't want to bore our viewers, but even Jim Nantz seemed a little uncomfortable with what he said, and he's a clown. But he did say something in the second half. He goes, "You know what? A team that's loaded like the Bengals." This is not exactly how he said it, but what he was trying to say was they have so many weapons. It is just, you can contain them for a little while. It's just you're not going to be able to do it the whole game. They're going to make plays, and they're going to come back. They're just hard to stop because they have so many talented players. It's true. Higgins, Boyd, Chase all scored. They all contributed. Mitchell Wilcox came in. And, listen, that offense really stepped up. Good complementary football in the second half. The defense helped out, gave them great field position on the turnovers, and the Bengals capitalized. And, and that's how they got that 34 unanswered points and came back and won the game.
34 unanswered points. Let me tell you what MVP quarterbacks do, Maan. When they are down 17-3 at half, they come back the second half, and Joe Burrow went 17 of 25, 4 touchdowns, no picks, with a 117.2 quarterback rating in the second half. Again, I know I sound like a homer, but you just got to show me. You guys show me a quarterback that is doing it better right now in the NFL than Joe Burrow. I mean, he's just unbelievable, Maan. We didn't run the football very well. Samaje, 7 carries, 24 yards. Mixon, 11 carries for 21 yards. The longest run today was Joe Burrow's scramble for 10 yards. So not really establishing the run like you and I had hoped for. So 21 carries total for 53 yards. Not great. But again, when you have an elite quarterback like we do, sometimes you just got to put the ball in his hand. Jamar Chase, 7 receptions, 60 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd, 5 catches, 35 yards and a touchdown. Mitchell Wilcox, 3 catches, 34 yards and a touchdown. And how great was that? Mitchell Wilcox grew up in Tampa. He played at USF, lived in Tampa his entire life, and comes back and scores his first NFL touchdown in his hometown. That had to be awesome for Mitchell Wilcox. T. Higgins, 5 catches, 33 yards, and a touchdown. Joe Mixon, 5 catches for 33 yards. Mon, again, we talked about Joe Burrow spreading the wealth, spreading the football around. Mon, we had 4 receivers with at least 5 catches today, and 4 different guys scored. Obviously, all 3 of the amigos scored. Man, oh man! Again, I've said it before, but Joe Burrow, he just makes everyone else around him better. What an outstanding second half for Joe Burrow.
It was great.
Oh, yeah, go
One
ahead.
thing, Jake, I want to mention the one concerning thing I had was the rush game today did struggle. 21
Yes.
carries for 53 yards.
Yeah.
We have got to be better than that. And you know what? Listen,
Yeah.
there was an uneven flow with our offense, and I'm gonna blame it on that rush attack. You know, they really they struggled on run blocking today. But credit to Tampa Bay, man. They came in with a game plan. Like I said, I watched the game on the way home, and Tracy Wolfson interviewed the head coach for the Buccaneers at the end of the first quarter, and they basically said their game plan is to keep Burrow on the bench. That's why they wanted to control the ball. They had a 21-minute time of possession in the first half.
Yes.
That's
Crazy.
amazing. I mean, you know what? It's hard to get a flow on offense when you're only out there for 20 plays in
I
9
think
minutes.
I think the Bengals had time possession was like 9 minutes the first half, which
That's it.
that's not going to win you a lot of football games.
No, they flipped it in the second half, though. But go ahead, bud.
Defensively, Logan Wilson, 15 total tackles. Once again, the guy just playing out of his mind right now. 9 solos. He had the only Bengals sack. Jermaine Pratt, 9 tackles, a huge interception again. What an amazing catch. Just unreal. I think where we were, and we were in the nosebleeds, but where we were when the play happened, everyone around us thought the ball hit the ground. Just incredible. Mom, we talk about guys that the Bengals need to start re-upping, looking at to re-up. Jermaine Pratt has got to be on that list now. He has got to be one of those guys. I know you don't think they can keep him and Logan, but I'm telling you, they can and they will. Jermaine Pratt will be a Bengal for the next 3 or 4 years. Trust.
Jake, I'm going to tell you right now. Listen, I did say that it's going to be hard to pay those guys, but the way he is playing and the plays he is making, how can they not re-sign him?
Oh yeah,
right
he's
now?
going to get re-signed.
I mean, he is at. They have to really. The guy has had a career year, and you could make an argument. Top 2 defensive player on the team.
Oh yeah,
he's unbelievable. And listen, he's a playmaker. He's coming up with key stops. I think the Bengals need to re-examine that and consider re-upping him. But hey, we got a lot more football. We'll get into free agency later on. But I agree with you. I hope he needs to stay.
He needs to stay. All right, here we go. Dax Hill. Dax Hill has a big game today. 8 tackles, 5 solo. Eli Apple, BJ Hill, both with 7 tackles. Again, like you said earlier, this was once Hubbard went down, the defensive line, they were moving guys around. I think at one point they had DJ Reader at DN. They had Tupou and BJ Hill in the middle. Tuafeli had he had a huge quarterback pressure there in the second half, but Tuafeli got some love today. Cam Sample, of course, Cam Taylor-Britt goes down. Our guy, friend of the show, Alan George, our dude, comes in and plays well. Again, Mon, I mean, they're having to move pieces around today on this defense, and when they did, they actually played better. I mean, the second half of this football game, Mon, the defense created 4 turnovers and a sack. And then obviously the big turnover on special teams. So 5 turnovers the second half, 4 by the defense, 1 by special teams. Again, the big sack as well. And not only that, Mom, but they pitched a shutout the second half. I mean, we're not that last touchdown at the end. That was just garbage time. I'm not counting that. But this defense came out and pitched a shutout in the second half. How dare us? How dare me to even question Louis? I mean, Lou Anarumo, I've said it before on this show. He is the best. He is the best halftime adjuster of any defensive coordinator in the NFL. No matter what happens the first half of any football game, he is dialed in the second half. And that is where you win football games, Mon, is that those halftime adjustments. I've said it 100 times. He's incredible.
Jake, they listen, Tom Brady, we said, we talked about it last week, arguably the best quarterback ever, if not the best player in the NFL. Struggled this year. I get it. They've struggled a little bit. Tampa Bay is still first place in their division. Okay. Yeah. But Tom Brady, the GOAT, greatest quarterback to ever play, played a secondary that started 2 rookies. One of the rookies was hurt. They brought in an undrafted free agent, Alan George.
All right. Who is also a rookie.
That's right.
Who's also a rookie.
Trey Hendrickson out. Hubbard out. Hilton out. These guys came in the second half, and they performed well. All right. And that's all on Coach Anarumo. Osai stepped up. Sample stepped up. Listen, these guys, they have a system in Cincinnati in place. Remember years ago, Pittsburgh, we hate talking about the Steelers, but they would always just draft and plug and play, just put a person in. They had this great system on defense, and it always worked for them. I think the Bengals have that right now. They have this system in place. Guys are coming in. Yeah, there might be a little bit of a drop off, but it's not falling off a cliff. All right. We lost Cheeto. Cam Taylor-Britt comes in. All right. And listen, Alan George played about 10 snaps. He was popping people out there. He got his hand on one ball. He did really good. Listen, Tom Brady had to have been licking his chops facing all those rookies in the secondary. And listen, in the first half, they had the energy. They were a little more physical than the Bengals, and he was targeting our guys. He really was. But hey, we adapted at halftime. Halftime is a key. You just said it. Lou Anarumo is going to be a head coach next year, and that sucks.
No, he's not.
He's special. No, he really is.
Do not talk that into existence. We want him for one more year at least. I mean, again, what can you say? So many things happened. And I know you and I were texting back and forth. We were on opposite sides of the stadium today, but we were texting back and forth. I was reading it on Twitter. Everybody was saying the same thing. The same thing we were saying during the game is today's game it started off, felt kind of like the Cleveland thing, right? Where, we drive down the field. Everything's looking good. There's a tip ball. There's an interception. We kind of unravel. Nothing goes our way. The next drive, Eli Apple drops an interception. They drive down the field. Jesse Bates drops the interception, hits him right in the hands in the end zone, which would have turned the Buccaneers away for some points. It was like nothing could go right that first half. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. And you and I have seen so many games over the last 40 years where this team would crumble. But these guys are different. This coaching staff is different. You've said it before on this show, Mon. This team is so mentally tough. They are battle tested. Again, I said it last week. They are the best team in the AFC, and it's hands down. It is hands down. This team and Joe Burrow have not only ruining, or I don't want to say ending seasons, but when we played Tennessee, first of all, we won 6 in a row. And these 6 in a row that we've won has been a brutal schedule. The most brutal 6-game stretch of anyone in the NFL. I think that's safe to say.
It is.
When they played Tennessee, Mon, Tennessee was the hottest team in football. The hottest team in football. The Bengals took their soul. They took their soul, Mon. Tennessee is not the same anymore. Kansas City. The last 2 games, Mon, Kansas City has had to pull one out against the Broncos, who's arguably bottom 5 team in the NFL. Today, Kansas City went into overtime against the Texans, who is definitely bottom 5 in the NFL. The Bengals are just they're ending these teams. They're ending these teams' momentum. And today they ended a career. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully to Tom Brady, but the torch was passed today. From one GOAT to the new GOAT, the torch was passed today.
You know what? We were before the game. The Kansas City game was killing me. I couldn't believe it. They really struggled against the Texans, and you are right. I think the Bengals psychologically they ruined the Titans, and the
They
Chiefs are
ruined the
listen.
Chiefs. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
They ruined the
yeah,
Chiefs. I'm telling you right now.
yeah. Listen. Tom Brady, I don't want to talk bad about him. He's up there. I think this is his last year. But Joe Burrow, if Joe Burrow has half his career, that'll be great. And listen, but
Yeah.
the Bengals today, I just a couple of stats in the game that really caught me off guard. They only had the ball 9 minutes in the first half. Tampa Bay had it for 20 minutes. Tampa Bay had 260 plus yards total offense in the first half. Okay, let's flip it. Second half, Bengals had the ball for 20 minutes, 21 minutes, and Tampa Bay only had it for 9. So it was a total role reversal. Tampa Bay had about 130 yards offense in the second half. And Jake, I think you just said it. I think about 60 yards of that was on that junk drive to get that last touchdown.
Probably
And
70, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, total domination. And I tell you what, man, our team leaders, they're built different. This Bengal team is just built. I mean, listen, they have no quit. They absolutely, they're never out of it. 17-0 at halftime. You just ripped off all those stats on, Tom Brady, 80 and whatever his stats were. That's unbelievable.
It's
But
unbelievable.
they don't care about those stats. They don't care about that. They just went out. They took one play at a time, came back, ended up winning by 11 points. It's just, man, I tell you, football is crazy. Everything that's happened this weekend. That's why it's the greatest sport ever. And I'm sorry, World Cup guys. It was fun watching that game today too.
It was.
It was.
You and I and our families all got to watch it in a local restaurant right by the stadium there in Tampa, and that was
It was
crazy.
exciting. It really was. It was exciting to watch it.
That Bengal game today, Maan, I don't know if you know this, but that Bengal game is tied thanks to our guy Jay Morrison from The Athletic. He tweeted out it's tied for the 6th largest comeback in Bengals history. The 6th largest comeback in Bengals history. And I got one more real quick thing trivia-wise for you, Mom.
Okay.
So this week you had 3 teams that completed 17-point comebacks, okay? 3 teams this week completed 17-point comebacks. The Vikings obviously trailing the Colts 33-0. They came back and won. The Jaguars today trailed the Cowboys 27-10 and came back and won. And of course, our Bengals trailed today 17-0 and came back and won, Mon. When is the last time in NFL history that 3 teams have completed 17-point comebacks on the same weekend?
Buddy, I have no idea. I don't know.
Let me give you a hint. 0.
Wow. Never happened before.
Never happened before. The first time in NFL history, the Bengals just making history. Let me say one more thing about Tom Brady real quick. And again, the guy is arguably one of the top 3 players in NFL history. We all know he's probably the best quarterback in NFL history. We all know everything about him, and I have the utmost respect for him as a player and what he's done in his career. But Tom, have you not learned? Do not give this Bengals defense bulletin board material. Calling this Bengals defense fairly tough was an absolute mistake, Tom, and you learn from it. You learn from that mistake, and now we all have to move on. Mon, Paul Daner tweeted out, I must have heard between 70 and 80 times the Bengals talking about fairly tough defense. This defense took that to heart. And again, Tom, in the last 36 games, teams have come out and given this team bulletin board material, and the same thing happens. The Bengals beat them.
Yeah, I saw the clips after the game. BJ Hill and Eli Apple talking about that, throwing some shade at Tom Brady. Yeah, you could tell you, man. Those guys are I mean, I'm older. I remember the no-name defenses of the '70s, and in a way, the Bengals are that way. They have some good players, but they just don't get the publicity of some of the other guys around a big market.
No.
Nobody talks to them like the Watts and Parsons and all that, but they have a lot of very good players on defense. They might not have that elite generational player, but I think everybody on that team, on that starting unit, is just a good football player. And we're seeing it every week. We follow the Bengals, we see the Bengals, and I think the Nationals, the game today was 90+% of America was watching it, so they got to see it too, how they settled down in the second half. And one other thing on Twitter, I saw TJ Hushmanzade. I don't know if you saw the tweet. TJ mentioned Bengals coaching staff might be the best in the league at making halftime adjustments. I agree. And good job, TJ. I love seeing all these ex-Bengals, even Tyler Eifert, all of them. They love the Bengals.
How about Pac-Man? Pac-Man. I mean, obviously Ocho Cinco, he's always been that guy. He's always been our guy. He's always shown love to the Bengals. But yes, you're right. You got a lot of these other guys are starting to follow up Ocho, and it's funny to go back to that real quick. Eli Apple coming off the field, he said something about old man, and at first I'm thinking, is he talking about Maan? I couldn't remember if he had ever met. Then I realized, oh no, he's talking about Tom Brady. Man, throwing some serious shade towards Brady. But again, these guys, they took that fairly tough thing to heart, man. You cannot give Joe Burrow or these other guys these guys are dogs, man. You cannot give them bulletin board material. When are teams going to learn? I mean, I hope they don't learn, because, man, keep giving it to them. Keep giving it to them. Keep overlooking them. Keep, not talking about them in the local media. Keep doing all that stuff in the national media, I should say, not the local media, but keep doing all that. And, we'll just carry that right to another Super Bowl run. Real quick, too, I want to
Jake,
talk about –
I want to repeat. I just want to repeat one more thing, and I can't get it out of my head. This defense had Cam Sample, Osai. They had Dax Hill. They had Cam Taylor-Britt. They had Allen George. All these reserves coming in and playing, because three of the best players on defense, Hubbard, Hendrickson, and Hilton, couldn't play today. It's just amazing, the contributions.
Incredible.
I mean, I know we mentioned it earlier. I just want to mention it again. Unbelievable effort.
Unbelievable.
And man, listen, it's Coach Taylor. He put that defensive staff together. Anarumo, all the position coaches, they got those guys playing and believing. Man, I tell you, it's fun to be a Bengal fan right now. It really is.
Real quick, I want to talk about the special teams, because we have been very hard on the special teams this year, and for good reason. I mean, they have not been good. I can't remember another year in this span of a decade where the special teams have just not been up to par like this year. But today, man, they showed out. You had Evan Money Mac making his field goals. He was perfect today. Again, Drew Chrisman, Maan, it seems like this guy punts the ball 3 or 4 times a game, and half of those are pinned inside the 20. That coffin kick in the second half, that was huge. That's huge. That's such a momentum killer after your defense just stops the offense and gets them off the field, and now your offense has to start from the 2-yard line. Drew Chrisman, 2 more punts today inside the 20. Again, the guy is averaging between 45 and 53 yards a game in punts. He's been outstanding. And then obviously, I don't know what the Buccaneers – I mean, Giovanni Bernard, he's one of my favorite Bengals in the last decade. But that poor guy, I don't know what was going on. I mean, at first when it happened, we all kind of looked at each other because, again, we're so far up. We're kind of looking at each other like, did they just fake that? And just unreal. I mean, unreal.
He didn't know it was coming. I'm sorry. I think it was a breakdown in communication. The guy had no idea it was coming, you know, and I'm glad he didn't.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, just a crazy play. And obviously too, real quick, what a great day on Saturday too, right? Because I mean, I'm hoping that our Ravens fans are listening. Maybe a particular one that has been talking about how awesome his Ravens are and how much more important it is to have a great defense. But when you can only score 3 points, Ravens fans, again, I've been saying this for a whole month, Maan. I hate to say when I'm right, but I've been saying this for a whole month. When you play bad football, it will catch up to you eventually. And the Baltimore Ravens have been playing bad football for well over a month, no matter who's at quarterback. And now our Cincinnati Bengals sit atop the North, where they belong and where they will stay, Maan.
Yeah, that's it. Listen, we have a 1-game cushion now. I still think it's going to come down to Week 18. Winner that game takes it all, and it's going to be us.
The Ravens are going to lose. The Ravens are going to lose another game, Maan.
It could happen. It could happen. The Bengals are going to win the North. I feel really confident saying that. Not trying to be cocky or anything, but I really think they're going to win the North. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm still holding out hope for the first seed. I really do. The Chiefs aren't playing well, and I'm going to tell you, Monday night in Buffalo is probably going to be one of the most watched Monday Night Football games in a long time.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So let's go over real quick. Here's the NFL playoff picture as it stands right now. Buffalo's the 1 seed at 11-3. Kansas City, the 2 seed at 11-3. Our Cincinnati Bengals, the 3 seed at 10-4. The Tennessee Titans, the 4 seed at 7-7. Which, by the way, look out for the Jaguars, right? 1 game back.
What a game. What a game there.
What a game. The Baltimore Ravens, 9-5. They are right now the 5th seed, and they are dropping fast. The LA Chargers at 8-6. And then the Miami Dolphins rounded out with the 7th seed. They are also 8-6. But what I want to say is right now, Maan, and we've been saying it, the Bengals control their own destiny. They still do. We just need Kansas City to drop 1 more game. And you know, that 1 seed is sitting right there. It's right there for us to take. We got to take this thing one week at a time. But man, oh man, Maan, that 1 seed would be so sweet, Maan.
Yeah, it sure would. I think a guaranteed trip to the Super Bowl. But let's 1 week at a time. Let's not jump ahead.
1 week at a time.
Let's get our division, and let's get a division hat, and we'll work our way.
And hey, you know what Joe's saying is when you win a championship, you smoke a cigar, right?
Yeah.
I like to see. And last year we had two of those opportunities because we didn't finish the 3rd, but hopefully this year we finish the 3rd. But anyway, Maan, just an incredible game today. And again, you know, defense, offense, special teams, they all showed up the second half. A complete football game for our Cincinnati Bengals. Again, I mean, it's exciting. Like you said, it's extremely exciting right now to know that this football team, no matter what is thrown at it, it's battle tested and ready to go. It's incredible.
It is. They are dialed in, and you know what? They sound like a broken record, man. They're tough, mentally tough, and nothing phases them. Nothing phases them, and they are playoff ready. and playoff tested. And let's just let's finish out the season healthy. Let's get our injured guys ready to roll for the playoffs, and let's get ready for New England.
New England, Christmas Eve. It's going to be awesome. All right, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Make sure you check us out on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, all the other podcast platforms. Again, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, please give us that 5-star review. We would very much appreciate it. Follow us on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9 and on Instagram, the same without the @ Bengals_Pulse9. And as always, guys, make sure you check out all of the awesome podcasts right here on the Wincinnati Podcast Network. Maan, it's been a long day, buddy.
I know, buddy. I'm about to fall asleep.
I can see that. I can see that. Well, hey, we'll be back here, guys, on Friday. Again, thank you guys for all the support. We are just overwhelmed with it. You guys are awesome. He is Maan. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse. Hoo day, Bengal fans.
Take care, everybody. See you.